Alrighty, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a mid-year, although this is probably going up in July. I'm going to do a mid-year check-in of my best and worst books of the year so far. I usually do this at the end of the year, but I have already read 105 books this year, and there was no way, if I was on this trajectory, that I wanted to try to pick from close to 200 books for the end of the year for my best and my worst. I'm going to do my best and the worst as of right now, and then I'll do another wrap-up at the end of the year. I think that's probably the smartest way for me to do this. I think I've got 10 favorites. I have less than that for like my least favorite. Some of these books I've already unhauled. I'm going to run through them because they're not worth the time and the attention, so I'm just going to mention them and we can be done with them. We're just going to go through the dislikes first, and then we can get into all of the things that I've really loved this year so far. And I am only picking from 2-star and 5-star books. First up is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I have a full review of this on my channel. I will link it up above. It wasn't awful. It just definitely wasn't for me. I know some people that really loved it. It wasn't a self-help book that I needed, and I didn't really agree with her philosophy on creativity. I didn't appreciate it. So it was a 2-star read for me. It was an audiobook listen, and I couldn't have been bothered. So if you want to know more about my thoughts on that though, and why it wasn't really for me, but why I could see the merits in it as well, I'll have that linked up above. Next up was Dare Me by Megan Abbott, which I've talked about in length in a lot of different videos since reading it. Legitimately want to be done talking about it now because I feel like even negative attention is attention, and I don't want to continue to give this book any slut shaming, eating disorder glorification, drug abuse glorification, falsified rape, and all that nonsense. It was too much for me. It was just really horrific writing, and like the worst kind of girl on girl hate as well. Like I can't. Next up was an entire trilogy, and it was the Shiver series by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm realizing Maggie Stiefvater's just probably not the writer for me. This was a werewolf book. There was like no basis for the characters ever accepting the fact that there was werewolves. It like chapter 4, it was there's wolves in the woods. Of course they're werewolves. But like no rhyme or reason. They were just like, the girl was just like, yeah, they're werewolves. There's also low-key like bestiality vibes where like the girl's attracted to the guy even when he's a wolf, and like burying her fingers in his fur and whatnot. I can't get behind it. It's not for me. And then I have a couple of Sarah Dessen books. The first one is Someone Like You. The girl finds out she's pregnant after her boyfriend has been killed in a motor vehicle accident. And her friend, you know, who's the main character, tries to help her through this and, you know, get her on board. The mom of the main character is like a famous child psychologist, and the girl, the main character, goes from being like really close with her mother and obeying all the rules, and does like a complete 180 and starts dating the bad boy and making all the wrong decisions, and it without like any rhyme or reason to it, and it just didn't make sense to me, so no. The next one was That Summer by Sarah Dessen. Had the whiniest, most unlikable characters, like both the main character, her sister. I think the girl in this is like 15 and she was so naive, it was unbelievable. Like it was stupid, unbelievable. I'm pretty sure they use the word retard in this book, which I'm not okay with. Not for me. Also, and this is a 3-star read, so it wasn't horrible, but honestly, if I'm like being really real about it, it's probably maybe closer to a 2-star. This one I did rate 2 stars, and it just wasn't good. There was slut shaming in this, crappy female friendships, like they were just really horrible to each other. And then there was like the shaming of one girl who was very religious, but the writers also did her a complete disservice by making her hyper religious, where she was really judgmental about everything her friends did, which was ridiculous in and of itself. I didn't connect with the characters. I didn't connect with the plot of this book. This one, similarly, I think it had very unhealthy relationships. Those were pretty bad, but none of them held even the smallest flicker of a flame to the absolute crap fest that was the Foxhole Court / All for the Game pile of garbage that these books were. I do a whole series review. It's non-spoilery, and then it gets spoilery. A lot of people watch the spoilery part even though they haven't read them yet because they knew they weren't going to after I talked about them a little bit. So that video will be right up there. Just know that I saw this all over BookTube, and I saw people raving about this series without any mention of all of the trigger warnings that this series deserves. and there's a lot of them. I honestly don't want to talk about this book anymore, so just check out the video if you're interested. But those were my crappy reads for the year. Let's get into my favorites because I'm really excited about all of them. They are in no particular order. I literally just have a stack right here, which is why I'm like looking this direction, and I'm just going to pull them and tell you about them. First up is Lady Midnight, which I think I read in like February. This I've talked about before in like my most recent book haul, which I will link up above, where I got Lord of Shadows. The Dark Artifices series is, I've not read Lord of Shadows yet. I've only read this. But this is like finally what I've always wanted the Shadowhunter world to be and Cassandra Clare's writing to be. This is obviously her most recent publication. You grow as a writer the more you write. So I understand that this is obviously going to be better quality writing than some of the early Mortal Instruments series. I did not enjoy the Mortal Instruments series. I was okay with the Infernal Devices, but this is finally getting really, really good. I swear it has nothing to do with the introduction of Fae. It may have something to do with the introduction of Fae. I really enjoyed the characters in this. I enjoyed the side characters in this. I'm excited to see where this series goes. I'm excited to know that there's another series coming off of this with some of the characters in this that are going to be the main characters of a new series that she's planning, which I don't think is coming out until like 2021 or some nonsense. So it's a while from now, but I'm excited to know those characters. If you're interested to know who those characters are, check out the most recent Book Buzz Live. I will have that linked up above and down below in the description box because I'm super stoked about it. I loved going into the Shadowhunter world, into an institute where all of the kids at the institute have been there like the entire time. They know their history. They know the characters from the Mortal Instruments and the characters from the Infernal Devices. It all ties together in this in a really beautiful way, and all of the connections start like to really fall into place. And I enjoyed that. Like I enjoy when things start to cohesively make sense. That happens in this book. So this one is really, really good. Then Brandon Sanderson, guys. This is the first of the Mistborn series. I read this whole trilogy in 1 month and I loved every single second of it. These books are so amazing. I have a whole series review I will link up above and down below. I'm trying to get better about putting those links down below, so definitely let me know if that's something you would like me to do, because it takes longer for me to do, but I understand the value of not having to click out of a video. The world building in this, the magic system in this, the characters in this, the way it all ties together. Some of my favorite new characters are in this series. It's just phenomenal. If you want to know more about the characters and the series as a whole, you can check out my individual review on that. Then I have The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, and I loved it. This one's about Molly. Molly has a twin sister who is a lesbian. She's in her first relationship with a girl. She's got 2 moms. One of them is African American. She's Jewish. Everything about this is so diverse. This is about a girl who has 26 crushes, and all of them have been unrequited because she's never had the guts to tell anybody she feels for them, and it's just the sweetest. And I so identify with Molly in just like the biggest way. She's also a plus size girl. Like it's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. Then I have another recent favorite. This is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire, who is just absolutely phenomenal. This is a sequel slash prequel to Every Hearted Doorway, which I read last year, so I don't think this counts, but this one is so phenomenal. This follows Jack and Jill, who make a debut in this book. I feel like the way this series is going to work is that this is like the base story. So this is where you get introduced to everybody. And then from this story, you're going to get side characters, stories from before they show up here. So you're going to find out about how they lived in their special worlds. Like this is about kids that go to portal worlds, like Narnia, Alice in Wonderland, and then they come back and they can't adapt. So in these books, I'm pretty sure you're going to get how they lived in their worlds. And then reading this made me want to reread this, see the characters through the lens of like this series. All I know is that this is a new favorite series. I will be doing an exclusive review on this book and tying it into this and how I feel about the series as a whole, but it is a new favorite series, an absolutely phenomenal book. Then I have Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I did binge read all of Sarah J. Maas's published works in January and February, and this was the first thing that I read, and I gave this 5 stars. And I don't think I gave anything else I read from her 5 stars, but this got 5 stars. This is a set of novellas that technically falls, I think, after the 3rd book of the Throne of Glass series in publication order, but I read it first, and I'm glad I read it first. I usually don't go for novellas. I don't usually go for side stories, but these are so hard-hitting, so emotional, so well written. They give you so much insight into Selena and the characters of this series. I loved it so much. So this got 5 stars, and I think the rest was like a mix of 4 and 3 stars. Then I have An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which was flipping phenomenal. This was a Job in the Librarian's book club book of the month. I will link that show down below because we talked about this so much. It is spoilery, so if you haven't read it, probably don't check that out. Almost like a Roman gladiator feel, but with a Middle Eastern vibe and almost like an Egyptian type of mythology. It's so good. This is a debut novel. I don't understand how it's this good. It makes me hate everything I've ever written. It is amazing. The characters in this are so good. And if you haven't read this for whatever reason, I really, really highly suggest you give it a try. It is amazing. And then another debut author. It's Angie Thomas and The Hate U Give. I have a full review of this as well, which I will link up above and down below. This is so good. The hype for this and all of the buzz for this book is absolutely well deserved. It is phenomenal. It's important. It's well written. It's amazing. You'll laugh, you'll cry. Watch the review, read the book. Just read this book. Then I have the current Job of the Librarian's book club of the month. By the time this video goes up, we'll have already had our live show, so I will link that down below. This book, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, was so good. I already ordered the second book. This is the UK cover. The US covers I just don't like, so I ordered the UK cover for the sequel. I think it's actually more like a companion novel. This book was so diverse. It is set in space with like space travel, time dimension warps. I don't go for that kind of stuff because it makes me feel stupid. I don't like when my books make me feel stupid. The characters in this are so well developed and so amazing. I cried. I felt for them. I absolutely fell in love with them. They are some of the most insane species. Like there's all these different species, all these different worlds and like different terminology, but it all makes sense and it's just so gorgeous. I absolutely love this. It is by far one of my favorite books of the year and I love it. So this one will probably end up on the master list of favorite books of the year. Finally, for my favorite book of the year, it's Saga. I did start Saga last year, but I continued Saga, I think starting at like 3 or 4 and then 5, 6, 7. I spoiled myself by making this the first graphic novel that I read because nothing will ever be as good as this again. And the artwork in this is amazing. The storyline in this is amazing. The character arcs in this are phenomenal. Only graphic novel to date that has made me cry. Like I bawled my eyes out. This particular edition, it's so good. Just know the hype. You're seeing it everywhere for a reason. Read it. Just read it. It's so good. Even if you don't think graphic novels are your thing, just give it a try. Those have been my least favorite and most favorite books of the year so far. I would love to know what yours are. Definitely comment down below and let me know. Did any of these books make your list? Have any of these made it to a TBR now that I've talked about them? I really hope they did. Except for the bad ones. Leave the bad ones alone. I look forward to talking to you guys at the end of this year about more books that I loved, hopefully less books that I hated. This has been my top favorite and least favorite books of 2017 so far. I cannot believe I've read over 100 books already. It's like mind-boggling to me, but I'm looking forward to a lot more amazing reading in the rest of the year. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to give me a big old thumbs up, click subscribe, and the little notification bell next to the subscribe button, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.